So there's really no preference towards like developing a formal class in the university, which is focused on your purpose, or having some training programs like short-term training programs. Both could be an option, right?
Both would be an option, yep.
Okay. And could you also provide some information, like how are you looking at the partnership with the industry or with the government organizations, local government organizations? I guess that was something that was mentioned in the project description. So do you want them to be, for example, the local government to be a collaborator in this project, or maybe we can develop training programs where the local government staff can participate and can get trained?
I see. So you're asking more, is a partnership for who's to be trained or for who's to be part of the project team?
Well, basically, who is part of the project team and how that partnership could, or what do you mean basically by that partnership?
Sure. What we're hoping, is that you said you were at FIU. That
yes.
Which my brother-in-law goes to FIU. But anyway, what we're hoping is that, say, someone from FIU might partner with Chamber of Commerce or a local
or
government.
The county, or
something, so that way we're kind of getting across silos, getting across sectors, and making sure that the project team is going to have a good look at what that future, energy landscape is going to look like, what kind of skills, knowledge, credentials will be necessary, how are people going to, what does the human dimension of the area look like? So hoping that by including these partnerships, the projects will be much more likely to succeed.
Okay, and for the training, do you, and excuse me if I'm using a lot of time here, I thought there was no other questions, but could the training be both for students and technical staff from local governments, or are you mostly looking at students?
This opportunity is intended to train participants ages 16 to 25.
Okay, got it.
So Matt, I think you mentioned that this could be used for recruiting purposes, or like marketing and recruiting purposes. Was that correct?
Yeah, if it's part of getting people into the program so that way they can be trained, that would fit the bill. We do have to there are some limitations around that. For example, we're not allowed to give money out for advocacy-related efforts.
Yes, definitely. I understand that I worked for a community college in Louisiana, and we currently offer some programming that would align with your goals. But we do have some targeted marketing and communication needs for um, women, for people of diverse backgrounds, and um, our industry partners also have a need to pull in a more diverse workforce. And so I think I was kind of leaning towards that angle, is to assist the industry partners um, by doing some targeted recruitment efforts, marketing efforts. Does that seem to align um, with this program or this initiative?
I think so, yeah. I think, again, I would make sure in your proposal just to make clear how that's going to then help you to get to that end goal of increasing the number and diversity of those skilled technical workers.
Okay, thank you.
Matthew, I would like to address a follow-up question to what Dr. Ali and Ms. Williams have just asked. So, I'm also part of the education system and looking to create programs and probably seminars and activities for students to engage into this type of skills acquirement. So, for example, there's not enough academic support, and if would like to hire an adjunct professor for a semester or bring on an expert from the wind developer or expert from blade developer, would that be okay to some of the funds to go towards the adjunct professor or the expert to teach a course on supply chain skills on workforce? Would that apply?
Yes, yeah, we've heard from folks that sometimes just getting qualified STEM teachers can be a challenge. So yeah, if that is something that would be needed to ensure success for your project, that could be included.
Okay, thank you. And the second question would be regarding the funding. Would you confirm that application should request a minimum of 75 for 2 years? And there was another piece of the 6 months follow-up. So that wasn't clear to me, like the 75 for 2 years, but then the 6 months, it was for assessment?
Sure. So the in terms of the amount, $75,000 is the minimum request. In terms of the duration, 2 years is the maximum project length, but we're also asking you to include some evaluation plans, and so those last 6 months can be to finish the data analysis part. So that's really what those last 6 months are for. It's basically just the data analysis.
Mm-hmm. Has a decision been made how many winners, if lack of a better word, will be selected, or that's up to you?
This is our first, someone had asked a similar question earlier. This is our first time running this particular opportunity, so we aren't entirely sure what it's going to look like. It'll really depend on what we get in terms of applications.
Thank you.
And I'll just say good morning to those of you who joined us while we were going through questions. My name is Matt Stillwell. I'm a staff member here at the Gulf Research Program, joined by Amanda Lynn, also a staff member at the GRP. So yeah, happy to answer any questions you might have.
Good morning to both of you. Sorry I had to join a little late. This is Allison Bordelon, and I am with the Louisiana Community and Technical College System. So I appreciate the invite to learn more about this opportunity and certainly review the documents that Arlonda Williams had shared with me as a contact. So thank you so much, and I look forward to working with you, hopefully, and looking at this opportunity deeper.
Fantastic. Well, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Okay, so a question I have is the kind of skills that you're looking out for. Is it specific, or it could be general? So when I mean specific, I'm like does it have to be something that leads into degrees, undergraduate degrees, or we could have apprenticeships and all other kind of skills that may not necessarily involve going to having a formal education, like going to college?
Sure. Well, this is for skilled technical workers, which are those who use science, technology, engineering, math knowledge in their day-to-day work, but do not have a bachelor's degree. So this would be getting the participants the skills where they could go into those careers. So kind of before the bachelor's level, more like associate's certification, trying to get people quickly up into careers that are more likely to be higher paying at the same education level.
Okay, all right.
So could these skills also be non-credit skills that would eventually be articulated into credit-bearing courses and programs? Like I'm thinking of a non-credit program. We'd start with that and then have it articulate into a certificate or associate's degree and potentially a bachelor's degree for those skilled workers. So looking at maybe a credential or a digital badge to begin with.
Sure. So if, I guess, sorry, are you asking then if you're going to be developing a new credential or what?
I'm just thinking about starting the program as a non-credit program because sometimes it's faster to do an accelerated program in the skill area that we would articulate into an associate's degree. So I work for a community college and we have a non-credit workforce and of course our credit bearing associate's degrees and certificates. So I was thinking it might be easier to start something that's in the non-credit field that we could articulate into a credit area.
Sure, thanks for clarifying. Yeah, I think that would be okay. Again, I would just be very clear how what the connection is on all this, and I guess just in general, be very clear in what you're planning to do.
Okay, and we might do a mixture of the two. Like we could just do non-credit and maybe a little bit of credit too. I just want to, sometimes in outreaching to certain populations, you have to start with non-credit to get them engaged. Okay, thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Melissa Wells. I'm with North America's Building Trade Unions. Thank you for hosting this Q&A. So I just had a question. A lot of our locals utilize, they have registered apprenticeship programs, and many of them work with community organizations to provide apprenticeship readiness programming. The multi-craft core curriculum is a certification that we provide. With funding for establishing or expansion of those apprenticeship readiness programs, in partnership with our industry partners, would that be something that this grant could fund?
It sounds like it, yeah.
Okay, got it. Thank you. And also, just wanted to know, is there a need to demonstrate partnership with industry partners, specifically end users that would be putting these, that either employ or would be hiring these skilled technical workers? Is that something that you want us to be able to fully demonstrate in the application, or is that just kind of like a cherry on top in this process?
Let's see. So I will direct you to the merit review criteria on page 8 of the RFA.
Okay.
Partnerships are 30% of the merit review criteria. So you will want to be sure that they are part of the project team and part of the project.
Got it. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you, Matt. This has been very helpful. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Well, thanks for joining, you as well.
Hey, Matt, this is Allison again. And sorry, I didn't have the opportunity to review the documents beforehand. So I'm just trying to quickly glance through what I have, and I probably will have more questions after. How many states are you just working within the Gulf region right now, and how many states are you working with currently?
Let's see. Yeah, we are the Gulf Research Program, so we're mandated to work in the Gulf of Mexico region. So that's Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and Florida.
The follow-up question is, I understand that the project activities have to be focused on these states and the Gulf states, but how about the project partners? Like, could I have a co-PI from another, college, which is not in these 5 states?
Yes. Yeah, we're just hoping that the actual programmatic work is in the Gulf of Mexico region. But if you have partners that are outside of, say in Georgia or something, that's okay.
Okay, great. Thank you.
And I heard Texas, Louisiana, Alabama, and Florida, but you said Mississippi as well, I'm sure, right?
I did, yep.
Okay.
At least I hope. I meant to, at least. I hope I didn't miss.
It could just be that I didn't hear it. I just wanted to confirm. Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Well, and then just again another follow-up question. Not necessarily the Gulf regions, for example, for Florida, the Gulf region is mostly like the western part of the state, but we are in the kind of the east. So is that okay, or it has to be in the actual?
I think that's okay. I think it's okay if it's on the, eastern side of Florida,
Right.
and even say something as far west as El Paso in Texas. That's a very different climate than
Right.
Houston, but still part of Texas.
Right. Great. Thank you.
And let me ask you this. So is this funding in correlation with any other funding and projects that are happening within the energy sector? We have so much happening within energy. Is this in coordination with other projects, or is it isolated?
It is informed by other projects, but I wouldn't say it's in coordination.
Okay. There's another Gulf region group. We met at NASA. It has some similar focuses, and I just didn't know if it was aligned or if it was just completely separate. So.
Hi, Matt. Can I ask a quick question?
Certainly.
So this is Xiangkang Oxcal from MIT, and I'm actually working with a partner on a project in Alabama. So just to make sure, Alabama is one of the regions that's covered, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we are working on projects related to the air capture of CO2 and carbon capture, utilization, sequestration projects. So would this sound this is built on our previous collaboration with Pamela Tomsky from the Research Excellence Carbon Sequestration Program, which is also the REX program that is for educating college students and also grad students and postdocs in CCUS sector. And we are thinking about doing something similar, just a mini version of the REX program targeted for the target age group in Alabama on air capture and CCUS. Would this sound like something that is potentially of interest?
Potentially, I guess I would need to know a little more about some of the specifics, because what we're hoping to achieve is that in the sort of medium to longest term, I guess not all time is all relative, but hoping to increase the number of skilled technical workers who could contribute to the future energy workforce. So the skilled technical workers being those who utilize STEM concepts in their day-to-day work, but do not have a bachelor's degree.
I see.
So this is more targeted for those project participants, ages 16 to 25.
Okay, okay, but at the same time, we can also make that available to let's say current undergrad students as well. Is that correct? Or should we just exclude them?
I'm sorry. Could you just say that one more time?
So you say the focus for the project is to get age 16 to 25 who don't have a bachelor's degree. I just want to make sure can we, so definitely we will make that the focus, but at the same time, do we need to exclude those who have undergrad degrees?
Well, let's see. I guess I'm still a little confused just because your project in particular sounds like it has some sort of unique characteristics. Because my understanding is that CCUS does not have any direct employment lines. And that's sort of where we're hoping to get people into, like we going back to those merit review criteria, we're sort of hoping to get people into getting them set up such that they could get into jobs in the near term. And my understanding, I guess, is that CCUS does not have that.
There are some job opportunities.
Awesome. Well, then, I would just make sure that that's very clear. And if you can delineate that on the excluding the other folks, I guess the only thing I'm a little hesitant to say too much on is that it sounded like your project has kind of multiple points of education. So it sounded like you were also going to be training those who do have bachelor's degrees as well as more like PhD level scientists on this type of technology. Did I mishear or misunderstand?
Oh, so I can just send more information about my about the project I'm working with my colleague. So this is the REX program. I just sent a link here. This is the version we are having right now. This is for workforce pipeline create network for CCUS funded by DOE FECM. But again, this is just the product we have right now, but we are just thinking about having a similar version to this, but with a different target group. Still, the focus will be CCUS, but we want to do something different.
I see. Okay. All right. Well, first, thank you for sharing that link. That helps to clarify a lot. I think that would fit within this funding opportunity.
That's great. That's great. Okay. Thank you, Matt.
Certainly. Thanks for joining and thanks for your question.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Matt, let me just ask you this. Is the funding, can it be spread out for the use of development as well as is it intended to provide funding directly to students? Or is it more on just the administration and the development side and then in the support of developing something for students? I don't know if the funding is intended to go directly to the end user.
Sure. So it can kind of be a mix if I'm understanding your question correctly. So the money could be used to set up the program, hire staff. It could be used to, hire buses to bring students to training facilities. It could be used to help offset the cost of courses for students. To kind of keep it somewhat open. I don't know if that helps answer your question or not.
So let's say if there was some type of educational tools, things that students would need directly in order to prepare them with something like that, almost like a book charges, but not books.
Sure. Yeah. Those types of support services are definitely something that we're willing to fund for this. We want to make sure that people are going to be able to participate in the programs.
Right. Okay. Excellent. Thank you.
Could that be, this is like a follow-up question. Could the funding be used for like providing scholarships or not necessarily the scholarships, but funding the students, funding the students to attend like a workshop or like a 2-week workshop or something like that, and then supporting all the cost accommodations like lodging and stuff.
Sure, yeah, to cover lodging, to cover maybe like a participant stipend.
Right.
Yeah, that would all be acceptable under this funding opportunity.
Okay, great. And another question, this is really a basic question. So are you mostly looking at, in terms of training and the subjects of those training materials, are you mostly looking at like basic skills, since you're looking at people with no bachelor's degree mostly? Are you looking at mostly basic math and programming, for example, skills for those group who haven't had the chance to get those trainings in formal educational programs, or it could be like getting familiar with the basic concepts in clean energy and like new trends, new international trends in clean energy, stuff like that, or either way. Is there any like specific focus, or at least something that you're more inclined towards?
Let's see here. I think so. If the kind of our goal is to increase the number of those skilled technical workers, and to do that, we're hoping to fund programs that will be able to then train those workers. For some degrees or credentials, there might be requirements that the students may not have met, like say maybe they need some amount of remedial math to help them get to a point where then they could get the credential or whatever it may be. Those sort of I don't know what you'd call them, remedial courses, the courses that would help bring students up to speed quickly to get them to learn the skills that they will need on the job. That is, very much something that we'd be willing to fund.
Okay, and how about like materials or equipment for the project? For example, I do run research programs at FIU looking at the performance of green infrastructure, mostly green infrastructure for stormwater control and management. So we deploy sensors, for example, looking at different parameters, also looking at, we have sensors for temperature measurements in green roofs, for example, and they all have aspects in energy saving. So could that be an option also? For example, using the funds to buy sensors and probably other equipment so the students can use during the program?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Hey, Matt, is there a requirement for a consortium to apply for this funding, or is it a single member institution? Is there a criteria as to who should be awarded, or best case scenario for that?
I don't know if there's like one type of institution is better poised to receive the funds than a different one. I think for this funding opportunity, the partnerships are really the more key aspect, that the partnerships are there and that the project team includes people from those partnerships.
Okay, great, thank you.
And another question, I do see the 75K as the minimum funding request, but do you have a number for maximum possible? Or even an average that you are thinking about?
Unfortunately, this is our first time running this particular opportunity, so we do not have it's going to really depend on what we end up getting. But I guess the theoretical maximum would be 1 million.
Okay, thank you.
And what is the total, do you have a total funding that you've shared set aside for that? So like how many projects, let's say you awarded 10 projects for $1 million each, or 5 projects for $1 million each, or $500,000 each?
This opportunity has $1 million total.
Total, gotcha. Okay, great, thank you.
Also, a follow-up question, Matt. So this opportunity is 1 million total, but how many projects do you expect to fund, and what is the range for the budget we should target? I just want to also make sure that.
Sure. Yeah, we don't have. This is our first time running this particular opportunity, so we don't have too much to go off in terms of what we're expecting the dollar ranges to fall into. I would, I guess, point all of you to, I guess it's actually on page 9 of the RFA about the budget, which is 10% of the merit review criteria. And it says, to what extent is the budget commensurate with the proposed activities? So I would just be sure that whatever you request, that be very clear that how that's going to impact the end participants, and that you request an amount that's commensurate with what you propose to do.
All right. Thank you, Matt.
So Matt, thanks very much for the information. Is there any email address that you could use in case there's any question during the proposal preparation?
Yes, I'm going to put it here in the chat. And then Amanda, would you just double check that that is the correct one? Okay, it is. Great.
Great, thank you.
Ironically, I was just typing in my contact information, so I am not the resource to reach out to ask questions, just to clarify.
Good thing. Thanks for joining.
Thank you. Take care.